same way you was raised without examining those patterns, those beliefs, right? Within those first 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
See, listen, we was doing the same thing too, huh, babe?
Oh yeah.
Until we became aware of the patterns that we was carrying. And this episode of the Married Life Podcast, episode, what is this, 16, babe? Yeah, we about to talk about it, good people. What it do? Welcome back to another episode of the Married Life Podcast, episode 16.
Yes.
I'm one of your co-hosts, FL, your life coach, and this is my boo thing. What's your name, babe?
Kendra.
Hey, look, she getting better and better, good people. In today's episode, yeah, we talking about conditioning parenting versus conscious parenting. What we really had to unlearn to change our parenting style with our 3 boys, so we wouldn't pass down those patterns that don't no longer serve us, and we passing it down to them.
Right?
Ain't that right, babe? Ain't that right? So welcome. It's alive. You know how we get down. So listen. Drop your comments below, because every time we go live, it is a live Q&A, or you can email us. What's the email?
The THA marriedlife23@gmail.com.
That's true. And, let the people, this episode, like we always say, this ain't about blaming our parents, right? Let them know, babe. This ain't about.
It's our experience. It's what we went through, the patterns we recognize within ourselves that we've seen growing up. And seeing how we were going into those same patterns ourselves.
Yeah, real talk. So I wrote down, like she said, this ain't about blaming. This is about pattern interruption. Yes. You always hear me talk about that, those first 7 years. So we get ready to give you real stories and examples how we had to do the work, right? So we don't pass those patterns down to our boys. Right. And some things still slip through the crack. And we're going to talk about all that, right?
We're perfect.
Yeah. So this episode, I wrote down, we're going to talk about how we parented each child, right? What our mindset was during that time of each child, and what we was at consciously in mindset, and what really changed, good people. Right. What really changed? I'm a note taker, so if you see me looking down at my notes, that's how I get down. I'm a teacher, good people. I'm leaning into that thing. So, man, let's just jump right into it, babe. Let's just jump. Our firstborn, right. Zechariah, Z-Man. Z-Man, go ahead.
That's his initial.
Go ahead. So, on the first one, we just want to talk about, like, where was we at and where was you at mentally, parenting, doing all that.
That was like in the thick of, our beliefs in Christianity.
Yeah.
Feeling like, man, if he didn't obey, woo-wee, goodness.
Say it again.
That's what we were taught to do, was obey.
Obey by any means necessary, So yeah, man, that was a big deal. Like she said, we was doing that phase of heavy church. You hear us talk about that. Go check out those other videos on the deconstruct. So when we had Z, we was heavy in structure.
Oh yeah.
Obedience, right? I wrote down here, discipline, structure, and because I said so.
That's the famous line of parents.
What is it? That's the famous line. Because I said so. Y'all know what I'm talking about?
You know what Z says now, right?
What? Yeah, I already know. Tell him what he say now.
He said, Mom, don't say because I said so. Don't say that. Give me a reason.
A real reason. And that's true.
And that's okay.
Yes. So yeah, man, we was doing that phase with Z. So we was more structured during that phase. Everything was about discipline. Everything was about, go ahead.
When you say structured, elaborate what you mean by that.
When I say structure, I mean like biblical structure.
Right.
So like if he said anything or spoke his mind, and he was younger then, but it had to conform to biblical structure. Mm-hmm. So we was going to grind that into him one way or another, right? So that's kind of what we was when we had him. It was conditioning. Why? Because that's how we was raised, good people. I was raised in the church. I heard us talk about all that. Right. And so we just tried to pass those same patterns down to him. I remember his first birthday.
Yes.
I'm gonna let you gotta tell. You want me telling you?
You can go ahead.
So listen, his first birthday, we got him a birthday cake. One side of the birthday cake, it had a basketball. Y'all know I played ball. I got cut twice right before training camp to go pro. So ball was my big thing. Then the other side was a Bible preacher man, right?
Oh,
He's
yes.
1 year old, good people. And I'm already conditioning in his mind to indoctrination.
Yeah.
That sound familiar? Like literally, you remember that?
Yeah.
Man, I already had his life planned out for him. He was gonna be a ball player and a preacher. And boy, we was gonna be tag teaming and playing ball and preaching together, baby. Like LeBron and his sons, but we preaching, right? So yeah, I made him a cake. That cake.
Well, you didn't make it.
Well, I didn't make it, but you know, we got him a cake.
Right.
And I look back on that now, man, that was just expectation. How many of us put our visions and our dreams on our kids?
Unless we recognize it, I bet we all do.
Yeah. So talk about during that time when I did that. How did that make you feel? Because you was in agreement with her.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, yes, that's what. Yes, let's do that. Let's give him this cake, and like we were just projecting, and it was not intentionally to do that.
Yeah.
It was just our pattern from what we had seen our whole life, and we were just following that pattern.
That's so true.
We had not recognized that stage yet.
No,
at all.
No, not at all. Not at all.
No.
Z-Man.
I mean, that wasn't even a thought.
Nah, it wasn't even a consciousness, wasn't even a thought. No. Awareness wasn't even a thought. No. We was just repeating the loop, good people. I wrote down here, looking back, we weren't seeing him for himself. Right. We were projecting the program we was raised in. So as we're talking to you about this, looking back on that, that's what I'm realizing, especially the expectation. Oh, yeah. Right? We already, like I said, I already had all these expectations for him.
We knew what he's going to do when he grew up.
Yeah. And now at 14, his birthday is in 2 days.
Yes.
That boy he's a very grounded kid, right? He's a very critical thinker like his daddy. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that don't always go well. We're going to talk about that a little later. Wifey always like.
Get two people just like, they're going to bump heads.
Because he challenges me.
Yes.
He challenges me to really think about and respond instead of react. Because like wifey said, his famous thing now, especially close to 14, don't tell me because y'all said so, because that's not a good reason, Dad. And he's right.
Yes.
And he's right. So that's the first child. So we was in that phase with him on the first child.
And I would say, people, especially religious people, would come back and say that's disrespectful.
Yes.
And I wholeheartedly disagree with that, because I do not want my child to be a yes man.
Come on, talk about it.
I want my children to be okay stating what is on their mind, saying no, because if you are a yes man, you feel like you have no say in anything.
People
even as an adult.
Yes.
I mean, that's how I felt, because I was a yes person. And even to this day, I still struggle to tell someone no.
Yeah. People pleasing. That's part of that conditioning, right? You get used to just following the rules without questioning it. Now you pleasing everybody. Now you 30, 40, 50, and now you wonder why you running thin, stressed thin. You doing all these things for people, but secretly you complaining about it. Oh, that's a yes man. Yeah. That's what wifey talking about. Yeah. So that's what we was at with Z, man. We couldn't see it. We was deep in the church. Everything was all about structure, discipline, be obedient. So even as he got a little older and he started kind of questioning things around 5, 6 years old, we were still kind of in it. It was like, oh no, he's disrespectful.
Right.
No, it wasn't, good people. He's just really leaning into who he is.
He's a child with questions.
And the home should be a safe place for your kids to do that.
Yes.
Okay, so now we about to get into the second child. Well, I'm going to talk briefly about Joshua, because Joshua was in between Z and Caleb. Yes. So when Joshua, y'all go back on those other videos, he passed, the placenta separated.
Yeah, I was 5 months.
5 months and 5 months passed. But Joshua started the consciousness kind of helping us ask deeper questions, right? Would you say it kind of?
Maybe I just remember thinking, oh, this was God's divine thing. Why do I need to grieve if, this was ordained by God? God knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
So, and I'm following in line with what God wants.
Yeah.
And so even though I grieved, I always made an excuse why it happened, because it was God.
It was God. Yeah,
God basically killed my child on purpose.
yeah,
For what?
yeah. And
And
most of the
so,
time,
and then, I mean, I guess in that moment, maybe I had a twinkling, but I didn't explore that at all.
got you.
I wanted to obey.
But yeah, there it is, man. And with me, that kind of aroused me as a thinker that I am. It was still in the back of my mind, like, man, why did we lose our child if we're doing everything that we supposed to be doing? And then we lost a child.
Right.
A child is supposed to bury their parent, not the parent burying the child. Like, what the hell is going on? So that's kind of when it kind of start. But like she said, we were still obedient to the call.
Oh, yeah.
So we still started our church, start doing all that. And our second child came, which is Caleb, which now we're transitioning to more consciousness when he came about, because we had our church.
Well, he was still a baby.
Yeah.
I remember, he was on me during
the church.
Yeah. And so it was probably, I would say, right around him, he was 2
years old.
Started, yeah.
That we started kind of, because I know he didn't stay in the church long.
Oh, no.
After he was born. So Caleb, we started to kind of come into the consciousness phase. I started reading more consciousness books. Y'all can go back on those other videos and kind of, watch that.
Right.
But I really started asking deeper questions. Like, what is faith really? Is it just something that I'm just doing because it was handed to me?
Right.
And I haven't really questioned it really. And so really with Caleb, the church phase started shifting. I wrote down, start questioning the beliefs. Awareness started to really take root, recognizing those patterns, right? Recognizing how we was passing down these beliefs, how we was passing down, man, what else would I say? Not only just belief, but like certain communication habits. My voice will raise, my tone will raise, right? Like I said, this ain't shaming our parents. This ain't doing any of that.
Yeah.
It's just recognizing these patterns, good people, so you don't pass them down to your kids, right? So as we start coming out, I wrote down, Caleb's was when the questioning really started.
Yes.
That's when we really start looking at these patterns, right? Like my tone, like the way I responded to the boys, right? I remember one time Z, our oldest, said something. He was probably about 7, 8 years old. I don't know when it was, but he said something and it sounded just like me. And I looked at my wife and it was like, do I sound like that? And she was like, what you say, babe?
Yeah.
And that, man, that was eye-opening for me, good people. Because the way he said it, it sounded aggressive. It sounded controlling. He was like 7 or 8 years old, right? And it opened my eyes like, nah, man, I got to change my tone. I got to change the way I deliver my messages because I'm not mad. I'm not upset, but I don't want nobody to think that I am when I'm delivering my messages. So that was one of the things that we really had to start. What I did. What was one of the things that you had to kind of start recognizing during that stretch that you was like, ooh, is that? Because here's the thing. Kids are mirrors. I always say this. Kids are mirrors. So they're going to reflect back to you those patterns, those outdated beliefs, right? They're going to reflect that back. And your partner is not a mirror. Your partner is a helper to help you unpack the trauma.
Right.
They're not a mirror. They got their own nervous system. They grew up in their own household. Your kids are mirrors, right? Outdated beliefs, outdated trauma, subconscious programming. Your kids are going to mirror that back to you unless you interrupt the loop. So I wrote down, we started realizing some of the things we're doing aren't conscious choices. That's what I wrote down. They were inherited patterns. So talk about a little bit about when you start realizing that, for just some of the things that you grew up with that you start seeing yourself do during that stretch.
Probably, I would say control, just feeling like when they're not minding that I'm losing control of them, and, not realizing they're kids,
and their brains are not developed.
Once we really learned the brain development of children,
nervous
man,
system.
that's such an eye-opening. And my whole goal is to um, help my children become aware,
Yes.
and so
Yes.
control is not a good thing. I mean, do you want your children to, do certain things? Of course you do, but at the same time, I can't control them.
That's true.
That to me, control is you're trying to have such an authority over them that they are losing their own identity. And I
True.
never want my children to lose their own identity.
True, true. Welcome. I see 2 people join the live. Welcome, welcome. Listen, drop your comments below. This is a live Q&A. We just talking about conditioned parenting versus conscious parenting. The things we had to become aware of, man, when we start recognizing our own conditioned patterns. We didn't want to pass those down. So comment, welcome. So yeah, man, go ahead.
I see, a lot of people will say, oh, that's woke. Oh, that's woke thinking. Well, you know what? I'd rather be awake than asleep and living my life sleepily, doing things that I'm not even thinking about.
Yeah.
Because to me, if you're asleep and you're just doing it, you have no awareness of what's actually going on.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning from Denver.
Hey, good morning.
Thank you for joining.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, thank you for joining, man. If you got comments, drop them below. Right. So yeah, man, like Wifey said, you don't want to control. And that's what we had to start realizing when Caleb came about, our second one, after Joshua, after we lost him. It just consciousness, awareness. Right. Like, do I really want to talk like this? Do I really want to have my voice sound like this? Right. So I really start looking at patterns in my own self, like, man, I got to teach them how to communicate their feelings without being aggressive, right? Most men don't know how to really communicate their feelings because we wasn't taught that. Right. It's always, stop that crying, boy. Right. Shut up. Be tough. No. Right. Y'all know, come on now, man. Let's just keep it a buck. I grew up like that, not shaming my parents and how I grew up, because some of those things help me, because I'm a dog, good people. I'm just a regulated dog. You feel me? So I want them to be a regulated dog. I want them to have a regulated mindset when they go out. I want them to be able to stand 10 toes down on their identity, on who they are, and not people please, and not try to do this because it keeps the peace. No, follow your truth. Right. So the third child now we about to go into Isaiah, man. This is our fully conscious child now. Oh, Caleb was the one where we started to come into consciousness. Yeah. By the time we had Isaiah, he's only 8 years old. We was full blown embodiment, baby, of consciousness. We was in this thing, mind, body, soul, the brain. So with Isaiah, I wrote down here, Isaiah is growing up in a completely different environment. Yes. It's not rigid, not fear-based. Right. It's not religion-based, right? I wrote down here, he's growing up in an environment with more communication, more awareness, more emotional intelligence.
Man, emotional intelligence, it's just, I will say, religion is such a profound thing when you're in it from a young age. Yeah. And you honestly sometimes lack that emotional intelligence because you're just taught to believe and obey, believe and obey. Don't question, believe and obey. Don't question, believe and obey. And kids are very inquisitive. And if you crush that inquisitive spirit, man, that's it. That's sad for children.
No, real talk. And we had to learn that because y'all heard me talk about brain development, nervous system. When we really understood that the brain is not developed till 25, the first part of the brain is, the amygdala. So even our kids, nobody's exempt from trauma. When you understand this, you're going to pass down some trauma. I don't care how conscious you are, things are going to fall through the loop, right? Yes. But when we started to understand, our kids are really absorbing the environment. Yes. We started to create more environments conducive that serve them, instead of creating hostile environments where I'm hollering and screaming, and then growing up in households like I grew up in, that was, high achievers, entrepreneurship, where I got praise for movement. Like movement felt safe to me. I got praise for productivity. outward input, right? Not on purpose. My parents were entrepreneurs. So when you grow up in those environments, sometimes you absorb that. So even with me, with my real parenting style now, wifey could tell you that, and I'm working on it, and because it's a practice. Regulate, right? Rhythm, right? Repeat, right? And then dare to be you. So it's a practice, good people. So sometimes now I walk in the house, even now, I ain't done it in a while. The boys would just be chilling, relaxing. I come in, nervous system activated. Why? Because stillness, my body learned in those environments that stillness doesn't equal productivity. When I walk in the house and the boys are just lounging around, not doing nothing. Why y'all sitting there? What y'all doing? What y'all doing? What? Get up, y'all need, because that equates laziness to me. So I had to retrain that. And they're kids. They just sitting around watching cartoons, and I walk in the house, that'll instantly trigger my nervous system. So I had to retrain that. And I had to stop praising them for doing, right? And start praising them for being. Yes. Just being. You're good enough just sitting there watching TV. You're good enough just playing the game. So that's what we're talking about. So by the time, like I said, by the time Isaiah came, I wrote this down. We wasn't parenting from conditioning anymore, good people. We were parenting from consciousness. Right? We was recognizing, regulating, finding a new rhythm, repeating that rhythm, and then letting them dare to be them. That's the whole thing. And like I said, kids are mirror. So talk about a little bit before we get up out of here, some of the things, and then we're gonna give you 3 steps that you can start conscious parenting your kids with right now. But talk about a little bit more about the mirror reflection. Another thing that you might have saw that they mirrored from you that you was like, man, I got to change that. You said the control, but
yelling. I mean, to me, I grew up with yelling. I still try to recognize within myself when things are getting frustrating to me. I've got to do that same thing. I've got to regulate myself. But I was big at yelling. I mean, yelling over the stupidest stuff, not picking up a shoe. I mean, just being more aware. And, I can see that when they respond back to me, if I've ask them to do something and they might yell, and I'm like, why are you yelling? And then they're yelling because they see me do it. They heard me do it. So that is definitely something that, I've been working on for myself.
Now, real talk. And wifey know with me with that, it's the same thing because my voice carries already. So then when the boys do that, I'm like, then my voice escalate. Then like she said, I have to back out of it. I have to be the more conscious, the more aware, because their brains are still not developed, right? But that's a big thing, was the yelling. Because our boys do it now. And I noticed that in a response, and then we give you the 3 steps and we out of here. I want to say this though. But I noticed that, and I used to tell you this is some years back, how the boys will respond differently when I was in a calmer state. Remember when I used to tell you that? So sometimes I would go in their room and I'd be, and then especially the oldest, he's rah back because it's 2 bears in there, right? But then I noticed when I started to regulate more, I'm like, man, when I come at a calmer state, when I'm more regulated, when I lower my tone, they respond very well. So now that's kind of how our conversations go. We can feel each other, and my boys are quick to use my own word. Dad, you dysregulated. What? What you know about this? Boy, if you don't stop.
That's funny.
But they be true.
It's true.
It's true.
I mean, we're adults. We still have to regulate ourselves. So how much harder is it for a child still learning to regulate themselves? And, we're the adults and we're trying to set that example on, okay, yes, mommy is a little frustrated. Let me regulate myself.
No, real
I
talk.
want them to mirror that instead of the yelling.
That's real talk. So listen, good people, this is the takeaway. We're going to give you the 3 things. I wrote down here. Every child exposed another pattern we needed to examine. So our kids, I wrote this down. I said like this. Our kids didn't just grow up. They woke us up.
Oh, that's good.
Ooh,
that's really good.
Right? So listen, here go the 3 steps you can do right now to start conscious parenting, to go from conditioned parenting to more awareness and conscious parenting.
Right.
Number one, recognize the pattern. What they need to do, babe, right there, right there.
Are we parenting from awareness or from how we were raised? That's a question we have to ask ourselves.
That's the question. That's step number one. Step two. What's step two, babe?
Regulate before you respond. And that's challenging, but it's doable.
Yeah, it's doable. So
most parents' reactions aren't decisions. It's your nervous system.
Oh, wait. Say that one more time.
Most parenting reactions aren't decisions. Their nervous system response. Your nervous system is out of balance at that moment. And it might not just be from the child.
Yeah.
You could have woke up with your nervous system out of balance. You could have seen something, heard something, something could have went on before that interaction and your nervous system was out of whack. And it leads to how you parent your child.
Yes, that's true. And then step three, create a new rhythm. You gotta create that new rhythm. That rhythm, you gotta interrupt the pattern.
Yes.
And then do something different in the moment. Yes. Create a new rhythm. See, I wrote down here, you gotta replace the fear, the control, right? The rigid authority. They're not talking back because they're asking you questions, right? Parenting from your own past, negative. Yeah, that's it. That's it. True. We got to interrupt that pattern, right? Because our parents did the best they could.
Right.
This is not a blame thing. This is not, oh, my parents didn't do this. No, the people, you 30, 40, 50 now, right? This ain't no blame thing. It's a conscious thing. It's an awareness thing.
And we have to recognize the time we're in. It's so much easier from when our parents raised us that a lot of this new terminology wasn't even out. You couldn't do research like you can now. There's so much more available to help us now.
That's true.
Than what our parents had.
That's true. It's so much more language wrapped around the things that we was feeling. Now we can coin that, right? And I always tell people to know better means to do better.
Yes.
Right? When you get the information, awareness holds you accountable the moment you see it. Now, whether you do something with it or not, that's on you. Right. That's why I always say awareness creates the opportunity for change, but it doesn't guarantee change because you got to do the work, right? So listen, you got to communicate better. You got to understand your child better. You got to set conscious boundaries, consciously set those boundaries. So listen, as we close, man, I want to leave you with this. Our parents gave us the best they knew, right? Our job now, your job now is to build on what served you and then just gently uproot what doesn't. That's it. That's it. Just to build on what's serving you and gently uproot what doesn't. So you got to recognize, regulate, right? Rhythm, find your rhythm, repeat, and then dare to be you, good people. Yes. That is the Married Life Podcast. I hope you guys can still hear. It kind of froze up, glitch, but that's the Married Life Podcast, episode 16. Yes. So listen, share this video with somebody that needs to hear this. And remember, every Tuesday at 2:30 Central Time, a brand new episode drops. Sometimes we go live like this. Right. So just check the updates or the community updates. But until next time, listen, conditioned parenting versus conscious parenting. Yes. The choice is yours now. The ball is in your court. Now that you have the awareness, what you going to do with it? Yes. I tell you what you're going to do with it. Recognize the pattern. Yes. Regulate yourself, right? Then you got to put that on repeat mode. Right. Find a new rhythm, put it on repeat mode so you can dare to be you. So join us every Tuesday. Until next time, good people, have a great day.